Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates multiple development projects in Bhopal, release a commemorative stamp and coin honouring Lokmata Devi Ahilyabai Holkar. Datia and Satna airports also inaugurated by the Prime Minister. India's global outreach on Operation Sindoor continues to gain momentum. Multi-party delegations engage in high-level discussions, highlighting India's continued fight against terrorism. And at the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore, Pentagon chief warns of imminent China threat, pushes Asian allies to hike defense spending. Australia urges for greater transparency from China's military. And India reaffirms commitment to glacier preservation in Dushanbe, calls for enhanced global cooperation, shared scientific research and increased financial and technological support for developing countries. An all-party delegation led by a member of Indian Parliament, Dr. Shrikant Shinde, visited Sierra Leone as part of India's diplomatic outreach. The delegation held extensive meetings with key Sierra Leonean dignitaries, including the Speaker of the Parliament, members of Parliament and the Committee on Foreign Affairs, the Deputy Minister of Defence, National Security Coordinator, Acting Foreign Minister and the Vice President of Sierra Leone. The delegation highlighted India's zero-tolerance policy towards terrorism and emphasized the importance of global unity in combating this threat. In a strong show of solidarity, the Parliament of Sierra Leone condemned the terrorist attack at Pahalgam and observed a moment of silence to honor the victims of the attack. The Vice President of Sierra Leone condemned the terrorist attack at Pahalgam, condoled the loss of lives and affirmed Sierra Leone's solidarity with India. As a demonstration of India's steadfast dedication to eradicating terrorism, the seven multi-party, parliamentary delegations are engaged in high-level discussions during their official visits abroad. Group 7 of an all-party delegation led by Supriya Sule met Vice President of Prosperity Party, the ruling party of Ethiopia, Adam Farah, in capital Addis Ababa. Group 3 of all-party delegation led by Sanjay Kumar Jha has left for Malaysia. The delegation was in Indonesia, where they held meetings, met with the leaders of the National Mandate Party of Indonesia. DMK MP Kanimori, who is leading an all-party delegation to Latvia, emphasized India's unity following the Pahalgam terror attack and said that the community in Riga stands with India and nothing is going to divide us anymore. Kanimori lauded the Indian diaspora in Latvia for their unity and support.
We have met the foreign ministry people and parliamentarians and a think tank and also the Indian community here. I think the most important thing today is that the Indian community has come, in an overwhelming number. They stand with India wherever they are. That is the message they wanted us to take back to India. Their support will be very important to India and to hold, Pakistan accountable and get the justice India seeks.
Speaking exclusively to DD India, Indian ambassador to Latvia Namrata Kumar said that Latvia has a significant Indian community and India has opened a new mission at Latvia, and this endeavor would further strengthen India and Latvia relations.
Opening of resident mission in Latvia has been a very, very important step in strengthening and taking our relations forward. Especially Latvia has been very, very thankful, I would say. Besides, in this country, we have huge number of Indian community members. That also makes very important that we have our resident mission here to take care of our Indian community in Latvia.
Group 5 of all-party delegation led by Congress leader Shashi Tharoor visits Colombian Congress. Wide-ranging interactions took place with members of the Colombian Council on International Relations. The discussions focused on various aspects of India-Colombia relations. They conveyed India's firm resolve to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations and India's new approach to counter cross-border terrorism.
The terrorist attack that took place in our country on the 22nd of April required a response because we could not allow killers to come and kill innocent tourists with impunity. We had to respond, and we're very grateful that you have shown such understanding for our concerns.
The all-party delegation also visited Tadio University in Bogota and paid floral tributes at the statue of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation. Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, former Indian ambassador and all-party delegation member, said that the parliamentary delegation's visit was very, very useful, productive and substantial in Colombia.
So Colombia was a very interesting interaction here because there is a division between the administration, the parliament and the political parties here. And in that, I think mixed messages had come out. And to that extent, I think this parliamentary delegation's visit was very, very useful, productive and substantial.
On the third day of their visit to Jakarta, the multi-party parliamentary delegation led by a member of Indian Parliament, Sanjay Kumar Jha, held interactions with the executive board of Nahdlatul Ulama, prominent media houses, business and community leaders from Indian diaspora in Indonesia, and met with members of parliament from Golkar and Nasdem party. The delegation also visited Gandhi Memorial Intercontinental School, Jakarta. The delegation also briefed the Indonesian media on India's new normal against cross-border attacks, zero tolerance for terrorism, and all-party resolve to stand united in all matters of national interest. The cross-party delegation will visit Malaysia on Saturday on the last leg of their 5 nations visit. Let's listen to Indian diaspora from Latvia and Jakarta who welcomed the Indian government's global outreach and efforts to raise its voice against terrorism.
This was really a great opportunity for us to see what's actually happening and who's actually trying to work against it. And against the Pakistan thing, against the terrorism. And they are, I'm so proud because they are going around because people need to know, other countries need to know. I really appreciate the initiative that India has taken to send the delegates around the world to raise the voice.
All right, indeed, India's Akshay Dongre joins us live with the latest. Hi, Akshay. First things first, Akshay, to begin with, it's very important to actually tell the world, Akshay, that what is the new normal for India when it comes to terrorism, and also how Pakistan is harboring terrorists, and now that India, has taken a resolve to retaliate whenever such a dastardly attack or something like that comes from Pakistan, isn't it?
Well, absolutely, it is the case. First of all, we have reshaped our entire policy towards terrorism, that these are not acts of violence, these are acts of war. And any such thing will be responded to in a calibrate and a manner that it deserves when it comes to a response. So that is going to happen. Certain things the world also should understand that while the people sitting in the West might think rather that it's okay for certain countries in South Asia to be infested with terrorism. and they may even use terrorism for state policy or for other means, as there have been allegations on the US, the UK as well, of funding organizations and who have gotten funds through countries like Pakistan in the region, who tend to be the proxy as well as the harborer of terrorism. It's a message to the entire world that India is right here next to Pakistan. All of the fallout and all of the collateral damage is also absorbed by India when it comes to terrorism. So India is not going to take it anymore, and we are going to respond to all of these terror threats in an equal and proportionate manner. You can only imagine if there was a country next to the US harboring terrorists. There is no chance that that country would have, quietly sat. Even they have had their wars of terror. So we also deserve to have one of our own when it comes to safeguarding our own country.
You are right, definitely, Akshay. I second you. I agree with you, definitely. Akshay, all party delegations are going to different countries, to tell those countries about India's stance when it comes to terrorism, and also the fact that India stands united when it comes to terrorism and will retaliate, like we just discussed it.
Absolutely.
Akshay, what sort of messages are going out from India? What exactly is the delegation telling the other countries? If you can just tell us, a bit about it.
Well, we have to understand that if you are having a war with Pakistan, you are not only having a war with a very professional army, very strong country that is also nuclearly armed, but it's also, one of the world's most powerful country when it comes to propaganda and fake news. So when Operation Sindoor was going on, we have seen the way Pakistan has also done propaganda. ISPR, the propaganda wing of the Pakistani military, has spread all sort of lies around the world. So India has to be very careful about that as well and combat it on a communication level with the world. So that is why this delegation has gone. A very good example would be Colombia. Colombia issued a statement condemning the deaths in Operation Sindoor. So they in a way sided with Pakistan and issued a statement for it. But after the delegation went to Colombia, we explained what exactly was the truth. They have withdrawn their statement today supporting Pakistan. So that is what India is trying to achieve when it comes to these kind of delegations.
Definitely. And Akshay, during Operation Sindoor, you reported brilliantly. Even I was there, and the kind of analysis you were making was absolutely mind-boggling and brilliant. Akshay, I also want to ask you that since the time, the Operation Sindoor actually when it took place, the world has also got to know that the indigenously manufactured weapons by India, are actually, doing wonders when it comes to, safeguarding our territory.
Well, also, every country, many countries have their own weapon systems. Many countries have their a much larger capacity than India to manufacture weapon. But what stood out as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned is that we have, used a different weapon defense, air defense system, especially when it comes to that. Different weapon systems. And we have, done our own sort of mixing them together and creating a shield when it comes to air defense that cannot be penetrated. And that was seen even when Pakistan used very advanced Chinese missiles at India, advanced Turkish drones at India. So all of those failed because of our own creativity and pioneering when it comes to air defense. So that is where India stood out. Also, when we had taken offensive action, we did not use only aircraft of one type. We used different aircraft. There was a mix of drones, missiles, aircraft, which neutralized the targets inside Pakistan and also took the war on terror right on its turf. So that was what stood out. Also, you're clearly right that weapon indigenous systems also stole the light, or rather of the show. When they were displayed, Akash was considered a mediocre weapon air defense system, but after Operation Sindoor, there is a queue of countries that are waiting to buy it. Similar is the case with BrahMos, that was co-manufactured with Russia, but majority of the stake is Indian when it comes to manufacturing process and the entirety of it. So yes, indigenous weapon systems have also been one of the highlights of this operation.
Definitely, the message goes out from here, Akshay, that India stands united when it comes to terrorism, and that the new normal for India is that If you will attack, then we will retaliate, and in a manner that you will not even imagine. But we leave it here, Akshay. Thank you so much for joining in. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has asserted that India will never give in to nuclear blackmail. Speaking at a convocation ceremony of foreign students of Parul University in Gujarat's Vadodara, Dr. Jaishankar said those who sponsor, nurture and utilize terrorism should be made to pay a heavy price.
But times have changed and our resolve is much stronger now. Terrorism epicenters are no longer immune. India's zero tolerance for terrorism is manifest today through its actions. We will never give in to nuclear blackmail. And whatever decisions have to be taken in India's national interest are taken and will continue to be taken. As we responded to the Pahalgam attack, it was also heartening to witness the understanding from other nations of our right to defend ourselves against terrorism.
And still to come on DD India Newshour. We will have an in-depth discussion as India's defence sector reaches new heights. India and European Union set to carry out joint naval exercise in Indian Ocean from 1st to 3rd of June. And the death toll in flash flooding in Nigeria rises to more than 150. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Good news for the Indian defence industry, as Made in India defence technology is witnessing a surge in global demand. According to the Ministry of Defence, India's defence exports have grown 30 times over the last 10 years, reaching 23,622 crore in FY24. From BrahMos to Dornier, over 100 Indian companies now export defence products to more than 100 countries. The ministry also noted that India, once the world's largest defence importer, is now among the top 25 defence exporters globally. In a significant stride towards self-reliance, India's defence sector marked a milestone on Friday. VEM Technologies delivered the first center fuselage for the Tejas Mk1A to Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in South Indian city of Hyderabad, advancing India's self-reliance under the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. HAL CMD Dr. D.K. Sunil stated this milestone supports the fourth production line for the light combat aircraft, involving over 6,300 Indian vendors, including 2,448 MSMEs, to enhance indigenization and create jobs. The Tejas Mk1A, an upgraded variant, boasts improved avionics and radar systems, strengthening the Indian Air Force. At the Pune Defence Expo this month, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh urged the adoption of AI and robotics to meet modern warfare needs, aiming to triple defence exports to $6 billion in 5 years. He also reviewed the IAF's exercise Vayu Veer Vijeta in Jodhpur, commending their precision with assets like the C-295 transport aircraft and Dornier 228 vital for surveillance and transport. Additionally, India signed a $100 million deal with the Philippines for BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles this month, marking BrahMos Aerospace's first export of the shore-based anti-ship missile, with 290-kilometer range, delivered earlier via IAF's C-17 Globemaster. This deal signed in New Delhi highlights India's growing global defense presence. And to discuss it further, we are joined by our guest, Dr. Atul Rane, former MD and CEO, BrahMos Aerospace. Sir, a very warm welcome to the broadcast. First of all, to begin with, India's defense technology is evolving with each passing day. And that became quite evident after Operation Sindoor. I was discussing it with my colleague, my correspondent as well. The world today knows about India's defense potential, isn't it? And it was a clear message in a way to global defense markets.
First of all, a wonderful thank you for having me here. And the Operation Sindoor was a wonderful stage, a stage where the defense R&D of India were able to showcase what they have been doing and what they can do and what they will do in the future. Yes, a message has been sent to the world that India is slowly becoming a power of production and self-reliance.
Definitely. And sir, today India exports to 100 countries the defense equipments. How do you react to that? Once it was importer, but now it's becoming exporter, and with each passing day, the demand for India's defense exports is actually growing.
What's happened is slowly our defense industries have grown over the years. They started off as supply chains of the larger defense industry of the world. But then our own R&D grew, our own weapon systems have been created, DRDO and HAL for the aircraft. And we managed to break through the large contract with the Philippines in 2022. Which was a path-breaking contract in a way, but that just opened the door immediately. That yes, Indian defense industry is here and we are ready to export. After that, there have been a lot of companies who have been picking up orders, some as equivalent and large as what BrahMos got from the Philippines. But now, with what has happened in Operation Sindoor, though of course officially we don't have exactly what weapon or what vector was used for what purpose. But yes, it's a message to the world that we are here and we are ready to export, which is everyone knows. And the door is now wide open for us. We just have to move forward and walk through it.
Yeah, definitely. And sir, in a way, it is also generating more employment and giving more opportunities to private sectors also to join the bandwagon.
Yes, of course. In the earlier days, the reliance was on the public sector units, the DPSUs. But over the years, all of us have understood that there is a booming defense industry. We just talked about VEM doing the fuselage for the AMCA. They're also a vendor or a industry partner for BrahMos. And each big industry, MSME, they have grown and they've started working in the defense industry, which means more and more people on board with this. And I must tell you one very interesting thing.
Please.
With the booming news about the defense R&D and manufacturing in our country having gone up, people are returning back from abroad to join this bandwagon. Startups and individuals all are coming back into India saying, we want to be part of it and we want to join in with this. That's a wonderful, wonderful news.
Indeed, and that itself shows, how the defense industry in India is actually growing with a rapid pace. Also, sir, I would want to ask you that when you compare, see the defense industry of India has grown in fact over the years and still on its path. And soon India will become one of the biggest exporters of defense equipments. How do you analyze this growth over the years?
What is, of course, the various fillets and schemes and the methods that the government has put forward to us. The government of India is extremely supportive of the idea of going into the private sector. In fact, just a year and a half or 2 years back now, in the budget, they said that 25% of the defense budget, in R&D budget, will be offset for the defense industry to use. Well, everyone is looking at these things, and there are many more methods which are going on. And there is a huge push from the government. There's a huge push from within the industry to help each other and work together. There was a time when BrahMos started saying that we would prefer, if the industry is ready to work with MSMEs and the defense private industry. But then there are certain areas of development of a system which has to stay within the PSU. But the industries have grown, they're waking up to the challenge, but then there are many more challenges. We may be able to manufacture, but can we manufacture in bulk? Can we do a surge in manufacturing? This is a little area of concern which we need to address and look at very carefully. And all of us would be sitting together at some moment of time, at every moment of time, trying to see what is it that we can move forward to get that surge in production and how we can get it back into Atmanirbharta, because importing even raw materials is going to be a no-no in the future.
Definitely. And the vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat stands strong here. When it comes to indigenously manufactured defense equipments, and when it comes to exporting them as well, and with growing demands of India's defense equipments. How do you analyze that? How do you react to it, sir?
You see, the geopolitics of the current situation and of the future is going to be such that we cannot, no nation can actually depend on another nation for help. It's going to reach that stage someday. You might have tacit help from here and there, but when you're looking at weaponry, full-scale weaponry, we may not be able to garner that sort of support. If we do, well and good, but we should not be expecting that we will be able to go ahead and get things from outside to for our armed forces. The armed forces themselves have now started showing so much of acceptance to indigenous technologies. They've started accepting it and saying that, yes, it works, and we accept that it is as good as any of the imported stuff. And that is another push towards our Atmanirbharta.
Indeed, I so agree with you on this. Also, sir, India signed, $100 million deal with the Philippines for BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles this month. You are former MD and CEO, BrahMos Aerospace. Another star in India's defense exports. How do you agree with do you agree with me on this?
Yeah, the world has been looking at how we are going ahead with the Philippines, and it's just the first step which BrahMos has made. And once we are able to finally finish executing all the pieces of the contracts, the world is just going to, and also what has happened very recently in the past 1 month, that I'm sure and I know there's a huge line of people waiting, not just for BrahMos, for the Akash, for the other weapons which have been used, the other weapons which we are making. There is no doubt that the initial contracts and the subsequent contracts are just creating a much more awareness and interest in the Indian defense systems.
All right. I was just coming to that, what you just said, sir. Can you just explain it, in details? This deal is not just a deal for BrahMos, like you were just mentioning. It actually opens pathways for Bharat when it comes to defense exports. And there is a huge, like you just mentioned, there is a long line, not just for BrahMos, but for other equipments as well. How do you see it?
Let me put it in a little subtly, a little bit different way.
Please.
Yes, Philippines is in the process of acquiring BrahMos. Now, you have an installation where BrahMos is deployed. You need to defend that installation. To defend that installation, you need more weapons. You need drones. You need surface-to-air missiles. You need firepower. All this, since you got BrahMos from India, why not go whole hog with India for the rest of the things also? And we are also fairly price competitive with respect to all the other defense systems. BrahMos is an expensive piece of weapon. It's technology after all. But in the other areas, we do have a very, very competitive price. And we are entering into an extremely competitive market. It's a dog eat dog world out there when it comes to defense exports. We'll have to really pull up our socks, work hard as a nation to make sure that we support each other. It's not that one company sells and doesn't let the other person know that I'm selling. We need to tell each other that I've got a foothold here, and why don't you also join in and let's offer a few things together. We may have to create defense export consortiums, not just defense manufacturing consortiums, but maybe export consortiums too.
Definitely. I so agree with you, sir. It was a wonderful conversation with you. Thank you so much for coming on the broadcast. And the bottom line here is that it's not just the deal for BrahMos. It's also opening new channels, new pathways for India's other defense equipments. And there are number of people who are standing in line, seeing the fact that how India's defense equipments, are being manufactured indigenously and how they perform, when the need be. Thank you so much, sir, for joining in on the broadcast.
Thank you for having me. Thanks a lot. It's an honor.
Reflecting the growing maritime security cooperation between India and the European Union, the two sides will conduct a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean from June 1st to 3rd. The exercise will focus on advanced counter-piracy operations, interoperability, tactical maneuvers and enhanced communication protocols.
In a significant step towards enhanced maritime collaboration, India and the European Union will hold a joint naval exercise in the Indian Ocean. The exercise will feature ships from the Indian Navy and 2 frigates from the European Union Naval Force Operation Atlanta. The participating EU ships, the Italian frigate Antonio Marseglia and the Spanish frigate Reina Sofia, are currently docked at Mumbai. The joint exercise will be coordinated by the respective maritime operation centers. Rear Admiral David D'Apozzo, Force Commander of the UNIFOR Atlanta, and Hervé Delphin, the Ambassador of the European Union to India, elaborated on the significance of the exercise and the broader EU-India cooperation.
It's the first time that Atalanta units are mooring in Mumbai. We have 2 ships here, so it's a big event in enhancing our cooperation and coordination with the Indian Navy. We share the same values, we share the same goals, which are maritime security in the Indian Ocean. So we are really committed to increase cooperation and coordination, and this exercise will help us in doing this.
I think it stems simply from the recognition of how much our interests intersect in ensuring maritime security. For a very simple reason, I think in the Indo-Pacific, we both see the importance of maintaining free and open and rule-based Indian Ocean access and in the Indo-Pacific access. This is in our economic interest and in our security interest.
Hervé Delphin, the Ambassador of the European Union to India, also reaffirmed EU's strong commitment to combating terrorism. He emphasized that the European Union's recognition of India's right to defend itself and protect its citizens. He noted that Operation Sindoor was a response to the Pahalgam terror attack.
As a strong partner of India, we of course always been standing in contact with India. We made our position very clear, condemning the attack. Recognizing the right of India to defend and protect its citizens in such situations.
India and the European Union are steadily enhancing cooperation on maritime security. Both sides share a deep commitment to a free, open, inclusive and rules-based maritime order in the Indo-Pacific region. Sharma Mishra's report for DD India in Mumbai.
Of Defence Staff General Anil Chauhan reaffirmed confidence in the space available for conventional military operations below the nuclear threshold. General Chauhan underscored India's evolving strategic stance and its preparedness for conventional engagement without immediate escalation.
There's a lot of space before that nuclear threshold is crossed. A lot of signaling before that. I think nothing like that happened. Over a period of time, as I said in a couple of other meetings, that there's a lot of space for conventional operations which has been created, and this will be the new norm. So,
CDS Anil Chauhan also highlighted China's role in supporting Pakistan during the ongoing conflict. He noted that nearly 80% of Pakistan's military equipment in recent years has been sourced from China.
As regard assistance provided to Pakistan during this particular conflict, you all aware that almost 80% of the equipment which Pakistan has procured in the past few years actually has been procured from China. So I'm sure some kind of an support from the OEM, etc., to refine problems, rectification, maintenance, these kind of support certainly would have been provided.
At the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore, India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, held bilateral discussions with General Onno Ekkelschim, Chief of Defence of Netherlands. Deliberations were held on avenues to enhance defence cooperation between both nations through military exchange programs and bilateral training events. Discussions also focused on Operation Sindoor, underscoring India's growing strategic partnership to ensure peace and stability in the region. CDS Anil Chauhan also interacted with Admiral Samuel J. Paparo, commander of US Indo-PACOM, USA, reinforcing defence ties. Their discussions centered on Operation Sindoor, strengthening military-to-military cooperation and opportunities to foster collaboration in the Indo-Pacific in the backdrop of the dynamic regional security landscape. US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has warned that the threat from China was real and potentially imminent as he pushed allies in the Indo-Pacific to spend more on their own defense needs. Hegseth, speaking for the first time at the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore on Saturday, Asia's premier forum for defense leaders, militaries and diplomats, underlined that the Indo-Pacific region was a priority for the Trump administration.
China has demonstrated that it wants to fundamentally alter the region's status quo. It has to be clear to all that Beijing is credibly preparing to potentially use military force to alter the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. We know, it's public, that Xi has ordered his military to be capable of invading Taiwan by 2027. The PLA is building the military needed to do it, training for it every day, and rehearsing for the real deal. Our defense spending must reflect the dangers and threats that we face today. Because deterrence doesn't come on the cheap.
The US Defense Secretary reaffirmed US commitment to Asia as its priority theater and urged allies like Japan and the Philippines to increase military spending.
NATO members are pledging to spend 5% of their GDP on defense, even Germany. So it doesn't make sense for countries in Europe to do that while key allies in Asia spend less on defense in the face of an even more formidable threat, not to mention North Korea.
The US Defense Secretary attended an informal roundtable conference with his Asian and European counterparts in Singapore on Saturday. The event, which was hosted by Singaporean Defence Minister, was attended by the EU's top diplomat, Japan's Defence Minister and Australia's Defence Minister. The military leaders and officials gathered for the discussions over lunch. Secretary Hegseth also met Japanese Defence Minister General Nakatani on the sidelines of the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. Hegseth had warned of an imminent threat from China and urged Indo-Pacific allies to boost defence spending. The Shangri-La dialogue, which attracts top defence officials, senior military officers, diplomats, weapons makers and security analysts from around the globe, is taking place from Friday to Sunday in Singapore. The defence ministers of Finland, France and New Zealand on Saturday highlighted the importance of cyber security during the Shangri-La dialogue in Singapore. Speaking to defence leaders, militaries and diplomats at the summit, Finnish defence minister emphasized the increasing diversity of threats that the cyber landscape poses to security and that confronting them would require the cooperation of both public and private sectors. Judith Collins, New Zealand's defence chief, said she was concerned about the actions of some states and organizations in the stability of cyberspace without specifying who she meant. She added that the growth of AI and machine learning increases the complexity of threats her nation and others face. The comments came on the second day of the three-day summit in Singapore, which attracts top defence officials, senior military officers, diplomats, weapons makers and security analysts from around the globe annually.
Cyber as an evolving operating environment is challenging the international rules-based order every day. Threats have become increasingly diverse, with the cyber environment being used extensively in hybrid influencing efforts, also in crime, terrorism, and purely warfare. Cybersecurity is clearly a whole of a nation effort. We have to combine the resources and skills of government authorities and the military, also the private industry and business sector, as well as the research community.
Speaking on the sidelines of the Shangri-La Dialogue Security Summit in Singapore on Saturday, Australian Defence Minister Richard Marles urged for greater transparency from China in regards to military exercises and build-up in the region.
We have a dialogue with China, but they've not said anything in relation to what its exercises would be in the future. I suppose one of the points that we would make is that when you look at the growth in the Chinese military, that has happened without a strategic reassurance or a strategic transparency, and that is a point that we have consistently made. We would like to have a greater transparency in what China is seeking to do in not only its build-up but in the exercises that it undertakes. But none of that is new, and that's an environment that we've been working with for some time now.
European Union's top diplomat Kaja Kallas and Japan's Defence Minister General Nakatani on Saturday urged for greater deterrence against threats to stability in the Indo-Pacific region while attending the Shangri-La Dialogue, Asia's premier security forum in Singapore. The EU's top diplomat emphasized the importance of enforcing the rules-based global order as the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which began in February 2022, continues. Japan's defense minister pointed to the heightening of tensions and the rapidly advancing militarization in the South China Sea as a significant threat to trust between nations in the region.
International law is the best deterrence for all countries, large and small. The rules-based global order is also the only guarantee for our safety and self-determination. When might replaces right, no border is safe. In the area of major instability, this system is more important than ever. If anything, this is the era that it was built for. But we have to enforce the rules and reinforce them if need.
Also speaking at the plenary session at the Shangri-La Dialogue Summit on Saturday, Dutch Defence Minister Ruben Brekelmans warned that the use of AI in the military is reshaping the battlefield and must be guided by judgment.
We also face something even more unpredictable. Technology that is evolving faster than our doctrines, rules and ethics can keep up with. AI is reshaping the battlefield. Algorithms influence when strikes take place, the way of defense, and who is making the ultimate call. The right information at the right time is vital for any modern military, but it must be guided by judgment, not just by data. AI is not inherently dangerous, but without moral boundaries, without meaningful human control, it can become a threat online, unlike anything we have seen so far.
Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim stressed the importance of balancing relations with both China and the United States amid global trade uncertainties. Speaking at the Shangri-La Dialogue Security Summit on Saturday, Anwar highlighted the need for Southeast Asia to maintain a dynamic equilibrium that promotes cooperation without coercion and avoids bloc politics.
Is one of active non-alignment. We will engage all who are willing, major powers and middle powers alike, not to set one against the other, but to maximize our own strategic space. Indeed, while we welcome a strong and enduring United States presence in the region towards fostering peace, we also value our vibrant and firm ties with China and our robust partnership across Asia, Europe, and the global south.
Shifting focus, at least 150 people have died and several others are still missing after floods submerged Mokwa, a market town in Nigeria's Niger state. An emergency official said that around 3,000 houses were submerged in two communities in the north-central state. The floods in Nigeria were triggered by torrential rains that lasted several hours. According to local reports, a dam collapse in a nearby town worsened the situation. Nigeria often faces seasonal floods, particularly impacting communities along the banks of the Niger and Benue rivers. That's what happened in Nigeria. And let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Indonesia's National Disaster Management Agency said rescue operations would continue on Saturday following a rock collapse at a quarry in West Java, which killed at least 10 people and injured 6. The collapse took place in Cirebon on Friday. Meanwhile, authorities gave no estimate on the number of people missing. Amsterdam's Van Gogh Museum hosted the first solo exhibition by an African artist with John Madu's Paint Your Path. The collection includes 10 works the Nigerian artist created specifically for the occasion and in dialogue with 7 paintings from the famous Dutch master Van Gogh. British comedian Ricky Gervais received the 2,813th star on Hollywood's Walk of Fame in the television category on Friday. Gervais is best known as a co-creator and star of the BBC 2 comedy The Office, which was adapted into the American version that ran from 2005 to 2013 on NBC. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Madhya Pradesh today to commemorate the 300th birth anniversary of Lokmata Devi Ahilyabai Holkar. He inaugurated Datia and Satna airports, enhancing air connectivity in the Vindhya region. In Indore, he flagged off passenger operations on the super priority corridor of the Yellow Line Metro. PM Modi also released a commemorative postage stamp and a 300 rupee coin dedicated to Lokmata Devi Ahilyabai. The Prime Minister also presented the Devi Ahilyabai National Award to a tribal woman artist, highlighting the progressive vision of Ahilyabai Holkar in women's welfare and empowerment. PM Modi recalled how she formed a special women's unit of women in the army of Malwa, which flourished for 250 to 300 years.
ढाई सौ 300 साल पहले हमारे देश में सेना में महिलाओं का होना, साथियों, महिला सुरक्षा के लिए उन्होंने गांवों में नारी सुरक्षा टोलियां ये भी बनाने का काम किया था.
Emphasizing Ahilabai's contribution to tribal welfare, the Prime Minister expressed gratitude for continuing her legacy under India's current tribal leadership.
उन्होंने आदिवासी समाज के लिए, गुमंतु टोलियों के लिए खाली पड़ी जमीन पर खेती की योजना बनाई है. ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि मुझे एक आदिवासी बेटी आज जो भारत के राष्ट्रपति पद पर विराजमान है, उनके मार्गदर्शन में मेरे आदिवासी भाई बहनों की सेवा करने का मौका मिला है.
India's Minister of State for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Kirti Vardhan Singh, addressed a plenary session of the high-level international conference on glaciers preservation held in Dushanbe, Tajikistan from May 29th to 31st. In his address, he outlined India's strategic steps, including the national mission for sustaining the Himalayan ecosystem and the creation of a center for cryosphere and climate change studies to strengthen research and monitoring efforts. Welcoming 2025 as the International Year of Glaciers Preservation and the Decade of Action for Cryospheric Sciences, the minister urged for global collaboration, shared research and increased support for developing nations. Weather updates now from across India. India's weather agency has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall over east, west, central and northeast regions of the country during the next 2 to 3 days. Heavy to very heavy rainfall is very likely over sub-Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim, Assam, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura till Monday. Same rainfall has been estimated for Karnataka, Kerala, Mahe, Konkan and Goa till Sunday. Torrential rain battered several districts in western and southern Assam, triggered by a deep depression over the northwest Bay of Bengal. The State Disaster Management Authority reported waterlogging, traffic disruptions and landslide threats in vulnerable areas, particularly Kamrup and Kachar districts. The Indian Met Department issued red alerts for 5 northeastern states, including Assam and Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Meghalaya and Manipur. Meanwhile, Assam Chief Minister Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma announced precautionary measures to ensure public safety. Heavy rain also lashed parts of Kerala, leading to waterlogging and hardships for residents. The IMD said that strong westerly winds are expected to continue at lower levels of the atmosphere over the Kerala and Lakshadweep region for the next 3 days. Kupwara district of North Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir experienced intense rainfall and a sudden hailstorm, causing widespread damage. The storm uprooted trees and brought daily life to a standstill. Meanwhile, the Indian Met Department announced that Delhi recorded its wettest May on record with 188.9 mm of rainfall between May 1st and 30th, which surpassed all previous figures. Notably, the capital saw no heatwave days this month. Meanwhile, continuous heavy rainfall over the past 3 days has caused widespread destruction across India's Mizoram, leading to building collapses, landslides and road blockages. Mizoram's Longlai district recorded the highest cumulative rainfall of 343 mm, followed by Pawswal at 260 mm and Nathial at 219.7 mm. In Serchhip, multiple structural failures have been reported. Several families have since evacuated as a precaution. Meanwhile, exceptionally heavy rainfall is lashing almost 18 districts of Assam since Friday. 5 deaths have been reported from the Kamrup district. The IMD has warned of intense rainfall in several districts, including Kamrup, Kachar and Dhubri and Hailakandi as well. And DD India's Subrina Roy joins us live from Dibrugarh in Assam for more updates. Subrina, can you just quickly tell us that what is the situation right now, and is there any advisory that have been issued by the government?
Well, the situation in Assam and other northeastern states is very crucial. For the past 2 days, it has been raining incessantly. And due to continuous downpour, since Assam particularly is a riparian state, which means it's a valley area, and all other northeastern states mostly are hills. So which means that the Brahmaputra Valley particularly is surrounded by hills. So whenever it rains at the hills, the rain occurred due to a deep depression which occurred in the Bay of Bengal and has moved northwards towards the northeastern states. And that is why when it hits the hilly areas, then the clouds have made a landfall in the Assam. And when it rains in the hills, the rains come down to the valley area, resulting in rising flood levels right here in Assam. So the areas particularly which are bordered around Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, since there is orange alert in southern eastern districts of Arunachal Pradesh like Changlang, Tirap, Namsai, etc. So that's why the rain waters will affect and is going to affect, as per IMD reports, the bordering districts of Assam like Soraideo, Sibsagar, Dibrugarh, and for the western part of Assam, which borders Meghalaya, it is going to affect the Kamrup districts, and there have been reports of landslides. 5 deaths have been reported, and Guwahati city was submerged with water.
Okay. Oh, got it. We leave it there. Thank you so much, Subina. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta on Saturday presented her government's 100-day report card at the 100 Seva Ke program. In fact, in New Delhi, she expressed happiness over the completion of 100 days over Delhi government and highlighted key development initiatives and public welfare schemes. Take a listen.
दिल्ली के अधिकार हैं, दिल्ली की जनता के अधिकार है, उनको देने की दिशा में दिल्ली की सरकार ईमानदारी से काम कर रही है, पूरी शिद्दत के साथ काम कर रही है और निश्चित रूप में विकसित भारत के साथ विकसित दिल्ली आगे बढ़ेगी और तरक्की करेगी.
That's all for this edition of DD India Newshour, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms, and you can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Newshour.